This conference will now be recorded.
So let's take a web service which I would like to invoke in order to get the weather information of a particular city. Okay, in order to get the weather information of a particular city based on the city name. Okay, based on the city name, how can we get the weather information? We'll see practically here by connecting to the third-party web service. And then how can we show that response on your Visual Force page? We'll see practically. Okay, now, for example, so let's come to that use case. For example, I would like to have a Visual Force page. I would like to have the Visual Force page. So in this Visual Force page, I would like to get the weather information of a particular city by giving that city name as an input at runtime. So in order to supply the input, that means in order to supply that city name at runtime, we need a text box. So I am placing one text box over here. Enter the city name. I would like to place one text box. I'm placing a text box, and here I'm placing a button control. Here I'm placing a button control. Get weather details, or simply weather details. Okay. So I'm placing a button control with the name get weather details. Okay. Now, so now here I'm having a Visual Force page. On this Visual Force page, I'm having a text box. In this text box, the user has to enter the city name. For that one, I'm giving a watermark inside that. Enter the city name. I'm placing a watermark. So now this is the such a text box that we have where the user has to enter a city name. After entering the city name, as soon as when the user click on this get weather details, okay, as soon as when the user click on this get weather details, whatever the city name the user has entered, that city's weather information I want to collect by connecting to the third-party web service, and that weather details I want to show inside my Visual Force page. Okay, now. So now in this case, I want to show that weather information over here. I'm having this section over here. So this is the section that I'm having. Now here I would like to show the weather information. I would like to have a page block over here. I'm indicating that information. Weather details. I want to show that weather information over here. Like the pressure, humidity, wind, and then I want to show temperature, minimum temperature, maximum temperature. I want to show those values inside this. So now I would like to design a user interface by using the Visual Force programming, where I would like to have a text box which is used to enter the city name based on which we would like to fetch the weather details by connecting to a third-party web service. So now once the city name has been entered, for example, the user has entered the city name as some Chennai. Okay. When the user has entered the city name as Chennai, after entering the city name, as soon as once you click on this get weather details, I would like to invoke that third-party web service. I would like to collect that weather information of the city Chennai, that when information I want to make it visible inside my Visual Force page. Okay, in my Visual Force page, okay, I would like to show that information. I want to indicate the weather details for Chennai. I want to display that city name also here. Okay, so weather details for the Chennai location. So now this is the pressure information and the humidity and the wind and the temperature, average temperature, minimum temperature and the maximum temperature. The whole information I want to represent inside my page block here. Inside my page block, I want to place some output labels, and there I would like to display this information inside the page block sections. Okay, so now I would like to design this user interface first, and then I would like to connect to the third-party web service. Okay, so whenever we are going to be connecting to the third-party web service, then what we need, what are the various steps that we need to follow, what inputs are required. Okay, let's see first. In order to connect to the third-party web service, okay, we need some input values. Inputs. So what are the various inputs that we required over here? Now, the first one is we need that endpoint URL. Okay, we need the endpoint URL. That means what exactly the URI? What is the URL through which we can able to connect to the third-party web service? Okay, in order to connect to the third-party web service, what exactly the URL which I would like to invoke from my Salesforce instance? Okay, we need that endpoint URL. Okay, so after that, so now upon invoking the third-party web service, okay, okay, then in this case we will need to pass any additional information. So in this case, whenever if you want to invoke the third-party web service, okay, like as some weather map applications, for example, I'm using that URI. I'm using a URI, open weather map application URI I would like to use. So what is that URL? Now let me show you practically here. In order to connect to the third-party web service, okay, which is used to get the weather information, we are having so many weather websites are available. Okay, so from that one we are using, okay, open weather map. Open weather map is the third-party website, third-party organization, which is going to be keep on updating the weather information of all the cities, all the countries information will be available inside this. Okay, all the weather maps information, nothing but all the cities weather's information is available inside this website itself. So based on your city, we can able to get the weather information. For each and every 2 minutes, they are going to be updating the weather information inside this website. Okay, for each and every 2 minutes, these people are going to be updating that current cities or locations or weather information inside this website. From there, the user can able to access. Like whenever we are going to be using the various smartphones, okay, mobiles or whatever, in your smartphone you will be having a small app like as for the weather information. You will be having that weather app is available here, so that we can able to see the current weather information. What is the temperature right now? Okay, in a particular location. Okay, based on your current location also, we can able to get the weather information, which we can able to keep on update, dynamically for every 1 hour, for every 2 hours, 4 hours, 8 hours. We can able to keep on update. All the settings will be available inside your app itself. Okay, which we can able to place, okay, on your home screen of your mobile, so that we can see what is the current temperature right now in this location. The possibilities are available here. So now all these apps are collecting that weather information by connecting to this website only. Internally, they're having the integration. Whenever your internet has been accessed, nothing but the internet has been enabled, automatically it will collect that respective, it will connect to the respective web service, it will collect the weather information, it is updating that information to you over there. Okay. So for that one, whatever the mobile apps that we are using, in every mobile app, we are having some weather apps are available inside that. So now those weather apps are going to be connecting to this kind of weather applications, which are going to be having the integration with these weather applications. They are going to be collecting that the respective countries or the cities weather information that will be visible to you inside your mobile app, so that the user can see, user can monitor the current weather information in that location. So these are purely integrated. These are purely integration processes only here. Okay, depends upon the time period which was set inside your mobile app, like as for every 1 hour, 2 hour, whatever. Once the 1 hour is over, if the internet has been get enabled, automatically it will be invoking that web service, collect the weather information, it will parse that information, it will display that weather information to you, minimum temperature, maximum temperature, and that image also will be getting visible to you. Okay, so now the facilities are available. All those mobile apps are connecting to these websites only here through integration process. Okay, now, so like the similar way, I would like to have my Visualforce page. Through this Visualforce page, I would like to invoke a web service in order to get the weather information. So for that one, I would like to use this Open Weather Map application, which is providing some set of APIs, which is used to get the weather information of a particular city or a particular location. Based on the city, also based on the geographical coordinates, also like as latitude and longitude, or depends upon the city name, depends upon the city ID, depends upon the country. We can able to collect that weather information also. That possibility is available to you. Okay, now, so now here in this case, in order to connect to this web service, they have provided the various APIs to you. Okay, they have provided the APIs to you. So not only collecting the current weather information, we can able to get the forecasting information also. Forecasting means what? For the next 2 days, how will be the weather in that so and so location? Because whenever the people are going to planning for any vacations, okay, in order to go for a vacation for a particular location, like as some Chennai or some Mumbai, or like as some tourist places, before planning for that for the vacation, they are going to verify that how will be the weather in that particular location for the next 2 days. Because I'm going to that tourist place, okay, for the next 2 days with my family, so that I would like to visit all the places nearby that location. So at that time, if it is completely raining process, nothing but if it is completely raining, then I can't visit all those areas. For that one, the people are verifying what is the forecasting information. How will be the weather for the next 2 days or next 3 days in that location? Based on that, the people can take the decisions. Okay, whether we can go for the tourist place or not on so and so date. So for that one, forecasting information is also very, very important. Okay, so for that one, they are going to providing that information also. Okay, now the current weather data we can able to collect here, hourly forecasting information also, 16-day or daily forecasting information. Nothing but for the next 16 days, the forecasting information also we can able to collect this information. That possibility is available here. So in this case, if you want to collect the current weather information, then on free of cost, we can able to collect that information also. If you want to take it for each and every second, for each and every 2 minutes, if you want to collect the weather information, forecasting information, then we have to buy the license over here. Okay, so there are some licensing prices are available. We need to pay that amount, then only we can able to use that here. Okay, now that facility is also available to you here. Historical data, that means forecasting information also, we can able to get this information as well here. Okay, they're going to providing all the information APIs to you. Weather alerts also we can able to get here. And the weather stations information also we can collect that information, air pollution's information also, everything we can able to collect all this information from these websites. So now in this case, I would like to connect to this third-party web service in order to get that current weather information of a particular city. So now for this one here, okay, for this one, we are going to be using this weather map, Open Weather Map application. Then how can we connect to this Open Weather Map application? So for that one, the complete documentation they're providing to you. In that website, they're giving that complete documentations to you. No need to get this information some other place. In that particular website itself, they will be giving the information of API. Okay, they will be giving the information of API. In this API, they're clearly indicating how to connect to this web service, what is the web service URL, what input values you have to supply, what kind of response you will get. What is that responsive format over here? Either JSON or XML. If it is JSON, then what is that format of information, response information? They will be clearly indicating to you over here. So now here in this case, they're indicating to you. So now in this case, whenever if you want to get this weather map information, then we can able to connect to this web service. For that one, they're indicating current weather data. For that one, they're indicating that API documentation. They're indicating that API documentation's information is available. Now they're indicating clearly to you, access current weather data for any location, including over 2 lakhs cities. So 2 lakhs cities weather information is available inside this website itself. Keep on, they're going to be updating. They're having the various branches are available. With those branches, they're collecting the weather information of the particular locations. They keep on updating the 2 lakhs of cities weather information inside this website. From there, the people can able to collect that. Now they are indicating current weather is frequently updated based on the global models and the data from more than 40,000 weather stations. In order to get that weather information, they're having the weather stations are available. They're having almost 40,000 weather stations are available, through which they're collecting the weather information of the various cities. Keep on, they're going to be updating that information inside this website. From there, we can able to collect that information. So now we can get the data. Data is available in JSON or XML or HTML formats over here. So now we can able to collect this data, nothing but we can get the response information in the form of either JSON or XML or HTML format also. Available for free and then all other paid accounts also. That means what, we are having the free services, we are having the paid services also. If you want forecasting information, then we have to go for the paid accounts. We have to pay some amount and then for the monthly rentals, and then we can able to access that the web service also. We can able to get the forecasting information also. For the current weather information, we no need to go for the paid account. We can go with that free account also over here. Now, in this case, how can we get this information? They're indicating that API documentation. Click on API doc. We can able to get this information also over here. Okay. Now, so now they're giving this information. In the right side, they're giving that information to you over here. Now call current weather data for one location. If you want to get the weather information of a particular location based on city name, based on city ID, based on zip code, based on the geographical coordinates, that means latitude and longitude values also, we can able to collect this information. Depends upon your requirement, we can able to collect that weather information also. Now I want to get the information based on city. As part of my requirement, as soon as whenever I'm entering the city name, based on that city name, I would like to collect that weather information. So click on that by city name. Once you click on this by city name, they're indicating. Whenever if you want to connect to that, if you want to get that weather information based on the city name, so this is the information. They're indicating clearly the documentation is available inside that website itself. No need to go to the other places. Clearly, they will be indicating that what is that web service URL to which we need to connect, what is the input values we need to supply, in which format we will be getting the response. Everything they will be clearly indicating inside the documentation process itself. Before having the integration with the third-party web service, first of all, we have to refer the documentation. Okay, first of all, we have to refer the documentation, then you will be getting the idea what is that web service name to which we need to connect, what input values we need to supply, how the response will be getting provided to you, what is the format of a response over here, everything we can able to collect. So that we need to aware of that, okay, the functionality of that integration process first. Now, so that here by city name. So it is indicating you can call by city name or city name and country code both, because here what are the city for which we would like to fetch the weather information. If the same city is there in the multiple countries are available, okay. If the same city is available in the multiple countries, then at that time to differentiate, to get that exact city's information, we need to specify the city name along with the country code also. For example, when coming to Hyderabad, Hyderabad is there in India also, Hyderabad is there in Pakistan also. In Pakistan also, we have a city with the name Hyderabad. So whenever if I am giving that city name like a simply Hyderabad, then which city's information it has to fetch? It has to get the weather information of the Hyderabad, which is in India or which is in some Pakistan. So it's a conflict. For that one, we can able to specify simply the city name or city name and country code both. So now API responds, okay, API responds with a list of results that match the searching goal. Whatever the city name that you have entered, based on that city name, whatever the weather details are available, that weather information will be providing to you as part of that searching result here. Now, how can we call this weather information? How can we invoke that service? This is the service they have indicated here. So now the URI is api.openweathermap.org/data/2.5/weather question mark q equals to city name. That means this is the URI. Okay, this is the URI to which we would like to integrate. So now we need that URI over here. So we have to specify HTTPS. We have to specify api.openweathermap.org/data/2.5. 2.5 is nothing but the version, and then weather. I would like to get the weather information of a particular city. What is that city? This is the city name over here. So now the parameter is what? Q. Okay, Q is the parameter. We need to pass the value over here. This is the city name we have to supply. Based on the city, it will be collecting the weather information. That weather information will be getting visible to you over here. Okay, now. So for that one, whenever if you want to integrate with any third-party application, first of all, we need that URI. Okay, we need that URI. That means what exactly the URI to which you would like to invoke. So we need this URI first. Okay, this is the URI which we have collected over here. Okay, this is the third-party web service URI. So I'm having this URI here. So this is the third-party URI for which you would like to supply that input value as a city name. Okay, city name as the input value here. Next. Now, second one. Whenever if you are getting that invoking that third-party web service by specifying that information, now it is indicating the parameters. They're indicating clearly everything they will be documenting inside that API documentation itself. They're indicating Q. Q represents what? City name. Okay, Q represents what? City name and the country code. Okay, country code divided by comma. That means what? If you are passing that simply city name, we can able to pass the city name. If you are passing that country code also, then at that time we have to specify the city name and the country code, which has to be separated by using a comma. Divided means what? Separating by a comma over here. City name Hyderabad, comma some IN India. Okay. Now after that, so now use one ISO 3166 country codes. Okay. Whenever I'm using this country codes here, we can't specify INDIA directly. We have to use some country codes. Those country codes we can able to fetch it over here. So whenever if you want to fetch the country codes, we can able to get that country codes also over here. So now for that several city IDs also we can able to collect this information also, and then along with that we can able to get that the city IDs also. We can able to get this IDs information also by using this website itself. In this website clearly they are indicating that what kind of the city country codes are available. Everything we can able to collect that information. So now after that here, in this case they are indicating there is a possibility to receive a central district for the city or town for its parameters here, and then the API response we can able to see how the response will be getting visible to you. Once you go to that example here, they're indicating that the multiple cities are available, then they're going to be indicating the response like this. But I don't want this much of response here. I want a particular city's response information. If you want to get that city's response, nothing but city's weather map information, at that time simply click on this URL. Once you click on this URL, they are going to be indicating this. Okay, they're indicating this one. Now this is the response format. We have to know the response format because based on this response format only, we need to write the parsing code. Okay, we need to write that parsing code first. Okay, so now if you don't know this response format, then how can we parse the content? We can't parse. For that one here, we need this response format also. So that we need the response format. So this is the response format which has been written by the web service. So it is returning that various key and the value parameters here. This is the key coordinates of that particular city, London city. So now it is indicating longitude value and then latitude value. And the weather information. It is indicating the weather information. Inside that they're indicating the ID and the main information, description also. And along with that they're indicating the base information. And they're giving the base information, base stations, and then main. Inside this main, we are having the actual information. Whatever the information that we are expecting, like as temperature, average temperature, and the pressure information, humidity, and the minimum temperature, maximum temperature, whatever the temperature information that we are expecting, that is available inside this, the main information. Nothing but inside that the main key. This is the element here. So this is the main is an object, nothing but element, which is like as an object which will be holding that actual weather information, what we are expecting. As part of my application, I want to show the pressure information, humidity, wind information, temperature, minimum temperature, maximum temperature. Now this information is available inside this main. Based on this key, we need to collect these values here. These values I want to represent inside my user interface. Okay. Now, after that here, you will be having this information, visibility, and then wind. It is indicating that wind speed also. And then degrees. And then clouds. How will be the clouds over here? They're indicating the clouds information. The remaining information is available. The system related information and the sunrise, sunset, all this information is available. Remaining information we don't want. So mainly we are expecting the wind information, wind speed I want to display. I want to show the temperature, pressure, humidity, minimum temperature and the maximum temperature. These are the information that we are expecting over here. So we should be aware of that, the response format. Based on this response format only we can able to parse this content. Okay. So in this case here, okay, now here in this case, whenever you are going to be invoking to this third-party web service to get the weather information, when you observe the URL, along with that city name, they are going to be appending something also. What they're appending? They're appending the app ID, nothing but application ID here. So this is a unique identification code to recognize you. Okay, to recognize you, okay, this is a unique identification code. So now we need this unique identification code also along with that URI in order to invoke the third-party web service. Suppose, for example, without specifying this app ID, when you press enter, it won't give this information. It is giving that message called as invalid API key. Okay, invalid API key. It is indicating that response code as 401. So it is giving the message as invalid API key. So please see this particular application, okay, in order to get the more information to connect to the web service. So now here I'm passing that the application key also. When you press the application key, it is indicating that that means what? So now success response format, failure response format, both are available here. So this is the success response format here. That means whenever we are connecting to the third-party web service, if it has been connected successfully, if you have been invoked successfully, then what is the response it will return to you? We can able to get that success response format also. This is the success response format here. If it is a failure, then this is the failure response format. We need that success response format, failure response format also, so that we can able to convey the message to that users. Okay. So for that reason here, we should be aware of that failure response format, success response format also. Now, whenever we are going to be invoking this third-party web service in order to get the data of weather information of a particular city, we have to specify the city name, and along with that, we need that application ID also. Then how can we get this application ID? In order to get that application ID, first of all, we should be the member of this application. Okay, we should be the member of this application. For that one, we should be a registered member of this application. So you have to create your own account. How to create that account? There is an option called as sign up option. Click on this sign up option. So it is a very simple registration form. Just you have to specify your username and your email ID, your password, repeated password, nothing but confirm password. And then select this info, select this check boxes here. Now click on create account. Automatically account will be getting created here. Very simple registration form. Okay. Now already I'm having my account is available. Let me log in into that. I'm logging into my application account here. Click on submit. Now I have logged into my application, into this account here. So currently I have logged into my application into this account here. So now login successfully. Now if you want to get that API key, so now you will be having so many options are available over here. Okay, so many options are available here. Now they're indicating new products, historical weather for any location also, historical information also, nothing but the previous information, forecasting information also, both we can see. They're indicating dashboard and agro API. So especially for the agricultural people over here. Okay, for the agricultural people also they can able to get that information. Now the services, what kind of services they're offering over here? They're indicating that services, nothing but currently I'm using that free plan. I'm not using any paid service here. I'm using that free plan over here. Okay. Now after that API keys. Now click on this API keys. Now it is generating that, it is indicating the API key. So now copy this API key in order to add along with the URI in order to invoke the third-party web service. So whatever the inputs are required, we need that URI and then we need that application ID. So we are going to be collecting this application ID inside this. So we need as a input formats, as the second one, we need that application ID. Which is called as app ID. Okay, app ID. So now this is the app ID that I'm having right now. Okay, so this is the app ID which I'm having right now. I'm having this application ID also. Okay, in order to connect to the third-party web service, first of all, we need that the URI. That means what is that URL of that web service which we need to invoke. And then second one, in order to invoke that web service, if it requires any authentication codes or not. So this is the authentication code. Okay, this is the authentication code which has been generated by that application. Okay, by creating my own account. So I have created one account, and through that account I have generated that authentication code because it has to recognize you uniquely. For that one, it requires the authentication code. This is the authentication code which I have generated. That means this is called as app ID. So now I have generated the app ID. Now I need both that values here. By using these two values, we can able to connect to my third-party web service. Okay, clear? Now, so first of all, whenever we are going to be integrating with any application, first to go through the API documentation. In that documentation, clearly they're describing that how to invoke that service. Okay, how to invoke that service, what is that URI, and then what are the inputs are required. Everything they will be giving that whole information inside the documentation itself. Through the documentation, we can able to collect that information and we can able to invoke that third-party web service. So now we need these two inputs. One is endpoint URI. Second one is that application ID. These are the two things are required to connect to that open weather map application here. Okay. Now both are available with me right now. Now let's see what are the steps we need to follow right now in this case here. Okay. What are the steps that we need to follow? Whenever we are going to be connecting to the third-party web service, we have to follow some steps. Okay. We have to follow some steps here. So what are those steps? Now let's see practically one by one. Okay, understood the concept up to now? Now let's take this use case here. Design a visual first page. Design a visual first page to represent the current weather information of the specified city, of the specified city name, based on the specified city name, by invoking the open weather map web service. Open weather map web service. By invoking the open weather map web service. Now, so we need some inputs over here. Inputs. So what are the inputs are required? First one, we required the URI. Okay. We need the URI. It is also called as endpoint. Endpoint to invoke the service. To invoke the web service. I'm having that URI here. So this is the URI. Second one. We need to append the authentication code or app ID along with the URI. I'm having this app ID also with me. I'm having this app ID. No. To generate the app ID, we have to create an account in the open weather map application. We need to create an account in the open weather map application. Now, the example. How can we invoke this one? We have to specify that URI ampersand. We have to specify app ID equals to. We need to supply the app ID here. Okay. So this is the URL which we need to follow in order to connect to the third-party web service. Okay, this is the format. Now, steps. Implementation steps. As a step one, what we need to do first? As a step one, first of all, whatever the web service that we have that we would like to connect, whatever the web service you would like to invoke, or whatever the third-party application to which you are going to integrate, at that time, first of all, the third-party application's URL we need to add inside your Salesforce instance inside the remote site settings. That means here, this is the third-party application. I'm having my Salesforce application, which is a secured application. So upon connecting to the third-party application, we have to inform to Salesforce that this is also one of the trusted application to which I would like to connect, to which I would like to invoke. Please allow me to connect to the third-party application, or please allow the third-party application can interact with my Salesforce instance, or else Salesforce won't allow. Because if this kind of facility is not available, the hacker people will directly hack your data also by entering into your Salesforce account. For that one, we need to add the trusted application. This is also one of the trusted application, okay, which we are using as part of my business. I want to integrate this application, so please allow me to connect to this application also. For that one, we need to add the web service URL, okay, inside the Salesforce application inside the remote site settings. Okay, now as a step one, we need to add third-party application URL, that means URI, inside the remote site settings of the Salesforce instance to indicate the third-party application is a trusted website. To indicate the third-party application is a trusted website. So where is this remote site settings? We have to go to that setup menu. Go to the administrator menu in the left panel. Go to that security controls. Go to that remote site settings. Go to that remote site settings. Click on new remote site button. Specify the remote site name. Enter the remote site URL inside the value field. Give the description of the remote site. In the description field, if needed. Basically, it's not a mandatory field, it's an optional field. Now click on save button. If you know one web service invoking process, remaining steps are same, no change. Same steps you have to follow. This is the first step. As a step one, we need to get that URL of the third-party application. The third-party application URL we need to add inside the remote site settings. As a step 2, design the Visual Force page to supply the required input to the web service. To supply the required input to the web service. Inside that, 2.1. Write the custom controller. Write the custom controller to invoke the third-party web service by using HTTP, HTTP request and HTTP response classes. HTTP response classes. And 2.2. Get the response from the web service in the form of JSON format and then 2.3 parse the response. Parse the response by using JSON parser classes and represent the result on the Visual Force page. And represent the result on the Visual Force page. So these are the two simple steps we need to follow. The screen is visible.
Yes, sir.
Done. Now let's see. So let's see how can we integrate this Salesforce application with the third-party web service that is Open Weather Map. Now let's see practically here. So what are the inputs are required? We are having both the inputs. We are having the URI. We are having the application ID also. And then we are having the implementation steps also. Okay, now let's see, okay, how can we implement this one? First of all, as a step 1, okay, we need to add that third-party applications URL inside that remote site settings. So let me add this URL inside the remote site setting. So this is the URL that we have. Copy that URL. We need to copy the complete URL up to that starting itself. Okay, api.openweathermap.org. Up to this is also sufficient. Okay, even though if I'm passing complete, it will take up to that part only here. Okay, because it will take just the domain name of that application. Okay, to which it has to get connect. I'm going to my Salesforce instance. Let's go to the remote site settings section. Go to that administer menu in the left panel. Go to the security controls. We have an option called as remote site settings. Okay, we have an option called as remote site settings. Click on this remote site settings. Now we need to add that URI. Okay, we need to add the trusted website. That means the third-party applications URL we need to add inside the remote site settings. Now click on new remote site. Click on new remote site button. Specify the remote site name. Okay, we can give any name over here. I'm indicating like as weather map endpoint URL. Okay, weather map endpoint URL. And then what exactly the URL over here? I'm pasting this URL, complete URL here. Up to this is also sufficient, not mandatory here. It won't take complete one. It will take up to this one here. HTTPS api.openweathermap.org. Up to this part, it will take that. If you want, you can give any description also. It's an optional thing. Okay, you may specify the description, you may not specify the description. Now click on save button. Now it is collecting this information. Now the remote site URL is https api.openweathermap.org. Okay, even if I'm giving the complete path, it will take up to the domain name. That is sufficient here. Okay, so now what are the third-party applications URL is available? Okay, that URL we need to add inside the remote site setting. Okay, now we are done with that step one. Okay, as a step one, we have added the third-party applications URL inside the remote site settings. Okay, now step one is over. Now step two, we need to design that Visualforce page. Okay, in order to supply the input values. I want to design the user interface like this. Okay, here the user interface I'm expecting. So I want to design this user interface. Let me design that Visualforce page. I want to indicate show weather details page. Okay, I'm designing a page with the name show weather details page. So now with this name, there is no page has been designed as of now. Now I want to design the page. Click on that link. Click on that link. Now the page has been designed by Salesforce. By default, it is giving the default code to you. But I don't want this a default code. I want to design my own functionality based on my requirement. So now here I'm going to designing my page with the required tags, with the required input values. Okay. Now I would like to go with that options. Setup equals to false. Already drive lo undiga link. లింక్ ఆల్రెడీ మే అన్ని డ్రెస్ లో పెట్టేసాను, నేను రాత్రే పెట్టేసాను కొత్తలు. ఓకే, so now let's see. I'm designing this page based on my application requirement. Sidebar equals to false. Show header equals to true. And the tab style. I'm indicating the customer object tab style. Okay. Now, I'm indicating the section header. Title equals to weather. Subtitle equals to weather details. I'm using the form tag. And then I'm going to be using this, the page block. I'm giving the title. Weather details block. I'm designing that page block here. Okay. Remember all these tags and hierarchies? Or any confusion still? Now. So now here I'm going to placing that the one text box and one button control inside this. So for that one here I'm going to placing that page black section. Apex page black section. I'm giving the title. Get weather details. And then number of columns equals to 2. And the collapsible equals to. Inside that, I'm placing that a text box and a button control. I'm indicating input text. Label equals to enter the city name. Okay. I'm indicating that HTML placeholder. HTML placeholder. I'm indicating enter city name. Okay. Now I want to place the button control. I'm using a command button. Value equals to get weather details. So now here I have placed a page black section. Inside the page black section, I have placed one text box in order to enter the city name. And then once the city name has been entered, to get the weather information, here I am going to placing a button control, get weather details. Now to display that weather information, I would like to use a separate page block. Apex page block. I'm indicating the title as weather details. Okay. I'm indicating the page block. Inside this page block, I'm indicating the weather details here. Here I would like to show that response. What are the weather details are available? Those weather details I want to display in a separate section. Okay. Inside this section, we can able to place directly the output fields also, or output labels. Apex output label. We can specify the wind information like as pressure value. I would like to indicate. I'm indicating that humidity value. I'm indicating the temperature. I'm indicating the minimum temperature. Output label, I'm indicating maximum temperature. Okay. So now here I'm placing some labels over here. I want to give some break lines. I'm giving that break lines. Here we can able to show that information also. Pressure value, humidity value, temperature, minimum temperature, and then maximum temperature. This whole information I want to make it visible over here. Okay, so we can show in a single column also, we can show in the multiple columns also by using the page black section. We can place the page black section. In that page black section, we can specify the number of columns to be arranged the fields, and we can able to place this information also whatever we want. For example, I'm giving one more break tag over here, so we can give some space. Now, so I'm giving this information. Pressure value I want to display, humidity value, temperature, minimum temperature, maximum temperature. Okay. So now the user interface part is also ready. Now, as part of my implementation, okay, as part of that step 2, okay, as part of that step 2, okay, we are done with that basic user interface design. Once the user interface design has been done, okay, as a step 2.1, we need to write our own custom controller class, because after entering some city name inside my user interface, for example, I'm entering some Chennai. After entering that city name, some Chennai, when I click on this get weather details, it has to integrate with that weather map application. It has to get the weather details of the Chennai. It has to represent those values inside my page block over here. Inside these fields, the value has to be get visible over here. Now, so in this case, how can we collect this information? Okay, now let's see practically. So in order to connect to the third-party web service, okay, we are going to be using the controller class. Now tell me what kind of controller we need to use. Standard or custom? Custom controller, because here we are going to be writing the code by our own. We need to write some HTTP classes, and we need to use that third-party URL. Okay, we need to invoke that service manually by our own. So that here we need to write that business logic by our own. For that one, I would like to go with that controller class, which is my own controller, that is custom controller. So here I'm going to be implementing my own controller class. I'm using that controller equals to, I'm giving that controller name as show weather details controller. Okay, I'm giving that controller class name as show weather details controller. Now, with this name, the class is not yet defined. So I want to create this class, so that here I'm going to be click on that second link. So now it will be preparing the class one. Now my class is also has been defined by Salesforce here. Now my class is ready. Okay, now my class is ready. So now here inside this class, I need to prepare a method. Okay, through that method, I would like to collect that weather information. So I'm preparing that method here. Public void get weather details. I'm preparing that method here. I'm preparing a method with the name get weather details. Inside this one, we would like to write that business logic over here. Okay. So in that one, we have to write that business logic to connect to the third-party web service by preparing the endpoint by using the HTTP class, HTTP request class, HTTP response class. Okay. Now let's see how can we implement this business logic now. So now whenever we are going to be preparing that endpoint should be like this. We have to specify that the third-party applications URI along with that app ID here. Now, generally, the people are going to be hard coding this entire information. Okay, the people will hard code this entire information inside the application itself. Suppose in future, if the application ID has been changed, then what we can do? We need to come back to our code. Inside the code level, we need to modify. We need to test it again, and then we need to redeploy to the production over there. It's a rework process. Okay, it's a rework process completely. For that one, I don't want to hard code this information inside my application code. I don't want to display this URL inside the application itself, so that I would like to store this information somewhere. For that one, I would like to create some custom labels. You know how to create the custom labels in the last session I showed you practically over there. I would like to create the 2 custom labels. Why? Because for this URI up to this part, I would like to use one custom label. This application ID, I would like to use one more custom label over there. Okay, I would like to use 2 custom labels inside that. Okay, I would like to use 2 custom labels. Now, so let me create these 2 custom labels inside this. Inside my application, I'm creating these 2 custom labels. So let's go to that create. We'll be having an option called as custom label. Okay, custom label. So now I'm going to be creating a custom label here. Click on new custom label. I'm indicating that weather map URI. Okay, weather map service URI. Okay, weather map service URI. Now specify the value. What is that value here? I'm going to be indicating this. Up to what I need to specify, not this complete information here. Okay, I want to store the two custom labels here. Custom label 1. Here inside this, I'm going to placing up to this part. Okay, in the custom label, okay, weather, nothing but API dot open weather map dot org /data /2.5 weather, and then the question mark q equals to, because here after this q equals to, what we need to supply? City name. Where is that city name? City name is available inside my application here, inside my user interface. In this particular user interface, I'm having the city name. So I would like to collect this value dynamically at runtime. I would like to append over there. For that one, up to that part only, I'm going to storing inside that the custom label. Okay, I'm storing up to this part only here. This is the first custom label I'm preparing. After this one, remaining content, nothing but city name we need to specify. City name, the user will be entering dynamically at runtime inside my text box. So dynamically at runtime, I will collect that value. I will be placing inside that position here. Now, second custom label. Custom label 2. I'm going to preparing the app ID. So whatever the application ID that we have, okay, this is the application ID that we are having right now. Okay, this is the application ID that I'm having right now. So now this application ID, I would like to place inside this. Okay, two custom labels I'm preparing inside my application. Okay, I'm preparing two custom labels. How to prepare the custom label? We have to go to the setup menu, build menu, create custom label. Okay, so now go to that custom labels and create two custom labels. In the first custom label, I'm going to be storing the information of that URI part, and the second custom label, I'm storing that application ID. Because sometimes URI may be getting changed, sometimes application ID may be changed. So at that time, it should not be impacted. For that one, I'm preparing two custom labels here. Now, so now let me place that the URI. Okay, place that URI inside this. Click on save. Now, after that, I want to create one more custom label. Go to the custom labels. Click on new custom label here. I'm going to preparing weather map service app ID. Okay, weather map service app ID. So what is that application ID? This is the ID which has been given by the open weather map application. I'm placing this app ID. Now click on save. So now we have created two custom labels which are going to storing this information. So now one is to store the URI, second one is to store that app ID here. Okay, so now both we have stored inside that custom label. So whenever you need these values, whenever you need this application ID, access this custom label. Whenever you need this URL, access this custom label here. So that custom label here, custom label will be used to protect your confidential information, your usernames and passwords, or URIs, or application IDs, authentication codes, access tokens, refresh tokens. In this case, this kind of information I don't want to disclose to the people. So that here I would like to make it protected from the unauthorized people by placing inside the custom labels and the custom settings also. We can use custom settings also to store this information. Depends upon your application requirement. Or else, if you want to maintain your own custom object, create a custom object and add the fields and then store this information. Whenever you need it, access it by using SOQL query here. But SOQL queries are not preferable to go with that as part of integration, because it will be enforcing you to write one additional SOQL query. Better we can go with the custom label or custom setting. Okay, because without writing any SOQL queries, we can get the data dynamically at runtime here. Now, so now what are the two things are available in order to connect to the third-party application? So now that URI and then that application ID I have placed inside that the custom labels. Now start implementing that business logic now. So now I would like to implement my business logic here in order to connect to the third-party application to get that weather details of that specific city which has been entered by the user at runtime. Okay, now, so let's see how can we implement this information right now. So inside this, we need to write that business logic over here. Inside that controller class, I'm going to be writing that business logic. Now, first of all, we need to prepare that endpoint URL. Okay, first of all, we need to prepare that endpoint URL here. Okay, now I'm specifying that. I'm preparing a string variable, string endpoint URL. Endpoint URL. So now in this endpoint URL, I need to specify the endpoint URL. What is the endpoint URL? The complete path of the application to which you would like to invoke. That means this complete path here. Because here is the complete path. Here is the endpoint URL. But in this one, two parts are placed in some different places. Okay, two parts are placed in some different places here. In two custom labels are stored. This application ID is there in a custom label, and then this URI is there in a separate custom label. I need to get that information. I need to append over here. Okay. Now, so in this case here, whenever I'm going to preparing this endpoint URL, we need that city name also. Where is that city name? City name is going to be entering by the user inside my text box. So whatever the value the user will be entering in the text box, I want this value inside my application, inside my Apex class. For that one, to store this value, I'm defining a variable. Public string city name. Okay, public string city name. So now this variable value, I would like to get it from the Visual Force. So that here I'm defining this variable with get and set accessor. Okay. So now define a variable with the name city name, which is of type string, which will be storing the name of that city, whose weather information you would like to collect. Okay. So now for that one, to store that the city name, I'm defining this variable. Now this variable value will be coming from the user interface, from the Visual Force page. So I need to map this variable with my text box. For that one, what we need to do, we need to go to the text box. Inside the text box, you are having a property. What is that property? Value property. In this value property, we have to specify the variable name in which this particular text box value has to be get resides. That means whatever the value that I have entered, like as for example, I'm indicating like as some Bangalore. Whenever I'm typing some value like as Bangalore inside this text box, this Bangalore value has to store in which variable we can indicate. For that one here, I'm indicating that this value should be get stored inside a variable called as city name variable, which I have defined inside my Apex class. So whenever if you want to access a Apex class variable inside the Visual Force page, we have to define that member with a get and set. So that as soon as whenever I'm entering some city name inside my text box, this value will be coming into my variable automatically by default. Once the value is coming into the variable, then from there we can able to farm that complete URI. How can we farm that URI? Now let's see practically here. So in order to prepare this endpoint URL, okay, in order to prepare this endpoint URL, now we need this URI first. Okay, here is the URI. How can we access this URI? How can we access this URI that is available inside the custom label? How can we access the custom label? System.label.label name. Okay, whatever the label name is available, that label name we can able to specify inside that. Okay. Now system.label.weather map service URI. Okay, it will be giving the value up to this part here. Okay, up to q equals to, up to this part it is returning this value. After that, what we need to specify? We need to specify the city name. City name is available where? Inside my text box here. Okay, inside my text box. How can we collect the text box value? Inside that city name variable here. I'm appending this one. Now whatever that URI is available, for this one I need to pass the city name. City name is available where? Inside my city name variable. So I'm going to be appending this one. Along with that, what we have, we need to specify that ampersand app ID. Okay, ampersand app ID here. Because here as part of this third-party applications URL, we need to specify that application ID also, ampersand app ID. That means this ampersand is nothing but a segregation over here. This is a segregation. This is one parameter, nothing but q, because this is the key and the value, and ampersand is nothing but this is a separator. Now this is the key, this is the value over here. To separate these elements, okay, to separate these key value pairs, we are using the ampersand symbol here. Okay, already you know as part of that query string. This is simply query string concept. Whether question mark is what? Query string. Upon passing the value to that particular URL through query string, we have to use question mark. We have to pass the values in the form of key value pairs. Key and the value, key and the value. At that time, to collect that multiple elements, we are using ampersand symbol. Same concept. This is the query string only. question mark query string, this is the key equals to this is the value, and ampersand, that means one more element, this is the key, this is the value over here. Okay, now so this is purely the query string concept which we have discussed as part of our Visual Force programming. So now here I am going to be indicating this ampersand app ID equals to, I need to collect that app ID. Where is my app ID? Inside my custom label. So what is that custom label now? This is the custom label over here. Weather map service app ID. So now I'm indicating that system dot label dot weather map service app ID. That's it. So that means what, whenever if somebody is looking into your code, they can't understand to which web service you are invoking here. What is the path of that web service? What is that application ID? Those people can't aware of that here because I have placed inside that custom label. Simply I'm using custom label. They can see this custom label, but they don't know what is the data behind this custom label. They don't know. They can't see that information. This is how we can protect our URLs. We can protect that application IDs and the access tokens and the usernames, passwords, everything. Instead of hard coding inside the application code itself, we can able to store in some other place. So whenever in future, if you are changing that value directly, we can go to the custom label, we can change it over. That will be reflecting in all the places inside your application in one shot. Or else, if you are not storing like as inside the custom label, if you are storing inside the application hard coded at that time, whenever if any changes are required, we have to go to the code, we have to modify the code level over. If the same IDs you are using in different places, we have to modify in the multiple places also manually. If you forgot to change in any of the place, that functionality will be getting affected automatically. For that reason, I don't want to make the changes in multiple places. I want to make the change in only one place that should be reflecting in all the other places automatically by default. Okay. So for that reason here, we are going to be using these custom labels in order to store that application URIs and along with that app IDs also inside that. Okay. Now, so once the endpoint URL is ready, okay, then how can we invoke that service here? For that one, we need to use that HTTP classes, HTTP request class, HTTP response class. These classes we are going to be using. How to use this one? Now let's see practically here. Okay. So let me open this class from the developer console. So there is, you will be getting the intelligence feature also. Okay. Let me go to the developer console. Let me open that class. What is that class we have prepared? Show with the details, right? Okay. So this is the class here. So this is the method here. Okay, we have prepared that endpoint URL. Okay, now once the endpoint URL is ready, then I would like to invoke that service. For that one, I would like to use HTTP class, HTTP request, and HTTP response. I'm preparing the HTTP request class. Request equals to new HTTP request. Inside this request class, HTTP request class, we are having the various methods. Request dot set endpoint. There is a method called as set endpoint. Where is that endpoint here? This is my string in which the endpoint URL is available over here. And then request dot set method. Okay, set method. I'm indicating this is a get method over here. Okay, this is the get method. That means here we are going to be collecting the details of the weather information of a particular city. That city name also we have included inside this. Now, so once the request is done, okay, once the request has been prepared, then I would like to invoke this. So now here, whenever I'm invoking this request, then it will be giving the response to me. To store that response, I'm using the HTTP response class. Response equals to new HTTP response. Now, how to invoke this request now? By creating that HTTP class. HTTP object equals to new HTTP. I'm invoking this HTTP object dot send. I'm going to be invoking this request. This is the request I'm going to be invoking over here. Whenever I'm going to be invoking this request, it will be giving the response. The response information I'm storing inside that response object. Okay, the response information I'm storing inside my response object. So now here in this case, what happened? So now here I have prepared the HTTP request class. Inside this HTTP request class, I have specified that endpoint over here. Okay, I have specified the endpoint. This is the endpoint URL which I have prepared by storing that URI and the application ID inside that the custom labels. And then I have prepared that endpoint URL. Once the endpoint URL is available, then I am going to be setting that endpoint URL by using that set endpoint method inside that request class, HTTP request class. I'm indicating that method as this is a get method. That means I would like to get the details of that weather information of a particular city, which I'm specifying over here. And after that, whenever I'm going to be invoking this request, for that one, we have to use that HTTP class. So that I have prepared that HTTP class object, I'm using the method called as send. Send method is used to invoke that request based on this endpoint URL, and then which will be returning the response to you. The response we need to store inside that HTTP response class. Now, once the response is available, then I would like to display that response initially over here. So for that one, I would like to show that response inside the Visualforce page first. Okay, just let me show that complete for the raw response first. That means whatever the response it is indicating, let me see the response first. Then we'll see how to parse that content also. Parsing code we haven't implemented still. Okay, so let me display that information over here. Okay, now I'm defining a string variable. Public string like as response, like as weather response. I'm making it as get and set. Don't write this one because this is for your information. I'm going to be discussing this particular separate variable here. Now, whatever the response has been written by this third-party application, this response I want to store inside my weather response variable. Weather response equals to response dot get body method. Okay, so whatever the response has been written in the form of body, the response I'm collecting over here by using the response dot get body method, the response I'm storing inside this variable. Now this is a variable value I want to show on my Visualforce page. Okay, so for this one I'm displaying inside that Visualforce page. I want to show over here. Okay, Apex output label. Response is I want to show that. I'm displaying the response information. Okay, so what are the response that we are collecting from the third-party application? The response information I'm going to be representing over here. Okay, the response information I'm representing inside my Visualforce page. Now, so now once the method is ready, okay, once the method is ready, then how can we invoke this method over here? Upon click on the button control, I want to invoke this method here. Okay, how to invoke this method? Go to that button control, specify that attribute. What is the property here? Action property. Action property, action equals to, you can specify that method name. Okay, action equals to specify the method. So once the action has been getting performed, then I would like to refresh this particular page block here. For that one, I'm indicating ID equals to page block. I want to refresh only this particular page block over here. For that one, I'm using. What is the property we need to use? Re-render. Re-render equals to page block. Okay, I'm going to be refreshing only that particular part over here. Clear? Understood the concept? Now, that means what? Simply, I'm going to be specifying some city name. Once I click on this get weather details method button, it will be calling this get weather details method, which is going to be collecting that endpoint URL. Based on that endpoint URL, it is going to be connecting to the third-party web service with the help of HTTP and the HTTP request and HTTP response classes. Whatever the response that I have received, that raw response, nothing but whatever the response has been given by Salesforce or the third-party application, I'm displaying onto my Visualforce page first. Then we'll see how to parse this response one by one here. Okay, how can you split the data to the various of fields? Now, yeah. Whether response equals to response dot get. Okay, now. Okay, now let's see how can we implement this functionality now. Let's test the functionality. So let me give that line breaks here. Okay, so now here I'm going to be entering the city name, like as for example some Chennai city. Now click on get weather details. Once you click on this get weather details, it is going to be indicating that weather information. So now for this Chennai location, whatever the weather details are available, the whole weather information we have collected. Okay, so it is connecting to the third party web service. It is going to be indicating that these are the coordinates of that Chennai location. Okay, these are the coordinates of Chennai location, so we can able to get this information here. But it is going to be giving that response in the raw format over here. Okay, it will be giving that raw response to you by default. It is giving the raw response to you. That means which is not a parsed one. Simply the JSON format of response, it has been written to me over here. Here the raw response has been given by the third party application. But now what I want here, from this one, I want only a few information, like as the main. In this main, we are having the temperature, actual temperature information. And then feels like temperature minimum, temperature maximum, pressure information, humidity information. These are the values are available, okay, inside this main. Now I want only this part, okay, which is used to display inside the Visual Force page. Then how can we pick up only that particular part over here? For that one, we need to parse that JSON content. Whatever the response has been written by that third party application, this is the JSON response which has been written by the third party application. Now I need to parse this content over here. Okay, I need to parse this content. How to parse this content? Okay, now let's see practically here. We are having the weather information is available over here. We are having that base information, and then main, and then temperature is available. Feels like minimum temperature, maximum temperature, pressure value, humidity, the whole information is available to you. Now I would like to collect this whole information. This information I want to represent inside the Visual Force page inside the respective fields over here. I don't want this complete raw response here. I want only the particular values to be represented along with this fields. Okay, then how can we parse this JSON content? Now let's see practically here. For that one, we have to use that JSON parser class. You know how to use the JSON parser class already we have discussed over here. Okay, already we have discussed how can we use that JSON parser class. Now, so let's use the JSON parser class again in order to parse the content here. Parse the content. So now what information we need? Temperature information, weather map, like as the weather information, like as we need that temperature, minimum temperature, maximum temperature, pressure information, humidity information. I want this information over here. Okay. Now, so in this case here, These values I want to represent where inside my Visual Force page in these locations over here. For that one, we need to define these variables. I'm defining these variables over here inside that class level. I'm defining few variables to store this weather information separately, because once the value has been getting parsed, once a JSON content has been parsed, that JSON value I'm going to storing inside these variables. These variables I can display inside my Visual Force page wherever I want. Now I'm defining the variables here. Public string, I would like to indicate that value humidity value. I'm making it as get insert. Public string pressure value, I'm indicating with the get insert. Public string minimum temperature, I'm making it as get insert. Public string maximum temperature, I'm indicating this. Public string normal temperature, that means average, get insert. These are the variables are required for me. So I would like to parse the JSON content. Those values I would like to store inside these variables. These variables I would like to represent inside my Visual Force page, inside my fields. Okay. So let's see how can we parse the JSON content over here. For that one, we have to prepare the JSON parser class object by using the create parser method. So that we have to use system.json.create parser. Okay, create parser. I need to pass that JSON string. Where is the JSON string that is available inside that response? Response dot get body. Okay, whatever the response has been written by the third-party application, that response is available inside that response object inside that get body. Now you can raise the question, sir, already have stored this value inside this weather response variable. Why can't we pass this? Also we can pass, no problem here. Okay, this also we can pass. Simply we can able to pass this value also. Okay, because already have stored the response inside my variable. This variable also we can able to supply, no problem, anything, because just it is expecting the JSON content. So now we need to prepare that JSON parser class here. System.json parser class. JSON parser like as weather map parser. Okay, I'm preparing the JSON parser class object here by using that name called as W parser, weather parser. So now once that JSON parser is available, then I need to iterate this one. How to parse this content? Whatever the content has been written by the third-party application, that is in the form of a raw response, where we are having everything is available in the form of key and the value pairs. This is the key, this is the value. This value is nothing but object. This is the key, this is the value. This value is nothing but a array, because you know that. So now this square braces is indicating array as part of JSON. And then this is the key, this is the value. This is the key, this is the value. This value is nothing but an object. How can we identify these values? Based on key. So I need to keep on traverse from starting to ending. So we are having so many key and the value pairs are available. This is the key and this is the value. Let me split it out. This is the key and the value. This is the key and the value. And then we are having the key and the value. This is the key and the value. So this is the key and the value. This is also key and value. Wind, this is also key and the value. This is also key and the value. These are also the key value pairs. And we are having the time zone. Key value pairs. Name of that city is Chennai. It is indicating that coordinates, everything. Now the whole information is available. So these are the various key value pairs which has been written by the third-party system in the form of JSON format. Okay, this is the response we have received. Now what information we need now? we need only this particular information, main information I want over here. This remaining information I don't want. Okay, this remaining information I don't want this information here. Okay, so now we need this main format. I mean, nothing but the main key. Based on this key, I would like to get this information. That too, we are having that key and the value pairs. Okay, so now this is the response which we have received from the third-party system. Okay, so now I want this main information. That means based on this key, I would like to fetch this each and every information inside this. Okay, now let's see how can we fetch this information. So that we need to pass this content from starting to ending. In this one, each and every word, this is called as a token. Key is a token, this value is a token. And then this key is a token, this entire value is a token. This key is a token, value is a token. Key is a token, value is a token. That means when coming to the JSON parser, each and every key and the value will be treating like as a separate tokens. So now we need to traverse from one token to next token, one token to next token, like that up to last tokens we need to traverse, because where exactly your information is available, somewhere in the middle. It may be available at the last also. So at that time, I need to traverse these tokens from starting to ending. In order to go to the next token, as part of JSON parser class, we are having a method called as next token method. So by using that next token method, keep on we need to traverse from starting to ending of the tokens. How can we traverse all these tokens? For that one, we are using the iterative statements. We can use either while loop or do while and the for loop also, whatever you want. By using that iterative statements, we can able to traverse, iterate from each and every token from starting to ending of the tokens. Now, for that one here, I'm going to be using that while loop to parse this content here. Now I'm indicating while w parser dot next token is not equals to null. That means what? Please iterate this particular JSON parser, nothing but JSON content, from starting to ending till the next token is not equals to null. That means up to that last token. Once it is reaching to the last token, then after that what we have? Null. That means there is no tokens are available. So please iterate me till it is not equals to null. That means up to the last token. Please iterate me. For that one, I'm using that while loop. Okay, while w parser dot next token. That means please iterate me till the next token value is not null. That means up to the last token here. Okay, once the token is available till last, please iterate me here. For that one, I'm using that while iterative statement in order to parse this content from starting to ending here. Now, in this one, I would like to get this information. What information we need over here? We need that information of main. Okay, we need that information of main information over here. How can we get this main information? Now let's see. I would like to verify. Okay, if w parser dot get current token. Okay, get current token. So that means here whatever the current token, keep on I'm traversing from starting to ending over here. From that one, take each and every token, we'll be comparing that. So whatever the current token right now we are using, if the current token value is equals to main or not, because here we need these keys. Without the key, we can't get the value as part of map. That's what here this response format is mandatory before having the integration. Before having the integration, response format is mandatory. That means here, whenever we're integrating with any third-party application, first of all, question them, whenever I'm invoking your service, what kind of response you are going to provide to me? Because whatever the response you are providing to me, I need to parse that response by writing some code. Based on that, I would like to collect the required values. I want to store inside my database, or I want to show inside my user interface. At that time, we need to know what is the format of response they are going to specify. What is the key values we need to know. For that one, this response format is mandatory over here. Without this response format, we can't parse that content over here. Okay. So whenever we are having that integration, that's what I told in the starting class itself. Integration is not one man's job. Integration is a two teams job. Two teams have to work collaboratively. They have to work. They have to work collaboratively with each other. So now first team has to give the input values. Then based on that, second team will be collecting the values through their application. They will do that. Respect to operation, they will give the response. In which format they're giving the response. Okay, so we should be aware of. Based on that, we can write the parsing code. So for that one, this key and the values are very, very important. Response format is very, very important. That too, we need two response formats. One is Success response format, failure response format. Both are mandatory upon having the integration. Suppose whenever I'm going to be connecting to your third-party web service, I'm giving some city name. If I'm entering some wrong city name, then at that time, what kind of error message you are going to return? That also I need to pass. So at that time, what kind of format you are going to send to me upon failing that? Upon unable to connect to that web service, or upon unable to get the weather details of a particular city, because for example I have entered that city name as some Chennai. If I'm entering that characters correctly, spelling is correct, then fine, no problem. If I'm giving like some Chenna, IE is missing over there. At that time we can't get that weather information. At that time it is giving some response to you like as an error response. What is that error response format here? We should be aware of. For that reason here, we need that success response format, failure response format, both are mandatory here. Okay, upon having the integration. Okay, that's what here previously also I showed you when you go to that postal pin code also. Okay, when you go to that postal pin code also, they're clearly indicating that whenever if you want to integrate with our postal department application, please use this format here. This is the URI to which you would like to invoke. We can pass either pin code or that postal branch name also. So whenever you're fetching the details successfully, this is the success format of response here. Response for valid pin codes. Now it is indicating invalid response format also. Now whenever if I'm passing the wrong branch number or the branch name, wrong pin code, at that time it will be giving the response like this. This is the response format. Success response format, failure response format, both are going to be indicating clearly in every application for every integration mandatory. Based on that, we have to write that code. Okay. Now, so I'm going to be parsing this content over here. I would like to collect this information. I want to verify if the current token name information here. W parser dot get a current token. Get current token. If the token is equals to a field or not, that means it is a field or not here. For example. So this is a field or not here. Okay, I would like to identify here. Okay, based on this one, I would like to verify if it is a field or not, nothing but field and the value. Field and the value. That means these are tokens here. Now I would like to indicate. How do we know whether it is a field or not? For that one, we are using system.json token enumeration dot field name. If it is a field name, that means it is a key or not. If it is a field or not, field value, field value, field value. Okay, that field is nothing but key. Value is nothing but the actual value of that key. So whether it is field or not, that too if the field name is main or not, because here I'm having so many fields are there: coordinates, weather, base, mean, visibility, wind, clouds, so many things are there. But I don't want all. I want only this particular field information. This is the field. This is the value I want over here. So for that reason, here I'm going to be collecting this field. Now this field name is what? Main. I want to verify. So W parser dot get text. That means that a field name is equals to main or not. Okay, I'm going to be comparing that. Okay, I'm comparing that. What are the current token that we have? The current token is a field or not. That too, if that field name is equals to main or not, I'm going to be comparing that. If it is a main, then I would like to get that information. Then I would like to get this information. Now, if the current token is a field or not, that too, if it is the field name is main or not, then if it is a field, then where is the value in this particular place? This is one token, this is another token here. Value is available where in another token over here. So now we need to go to that next token here. So for that one here, I would like to go to that next token. W parser dot next token. Okay, because in this case here, when you observe this one, so this is one token here. So I have verified So what are the current token? The current token name is equals to main or not. Then I want the values here because these information I want over here. This is the key, this is the value. So now this is also what? This is a token, this is also a separated token over here. So for this particular key, where is the value? This is in the next token here. So I need to go to the next token. For that one, I'm using this next token over here. Okay, I'm going to the next token. In this next token, okay, in this next token, what we have, I'm having some values. This is the current token. Now this is the current token value over here. This is what starting of the object here. This is the starting of the object. This is what starting of the array. This is what ending of the object. This is what ending of the array. I want to verify this information. Okay, I want to verify. So what are the next token that we have? Is it a starting of the object or not? I need to verify that. I want to verify if w parser dot get current token. Okay, get current token equals to system dot JSON token dot start array. So the start object. That means is it a starting object? Okay. See, we need to traverse each and everything manually here. If you do the practice, then only you can understand this. Okay, or else it will be difficult to understand. Okay. So now in this case, I'll keep on traversing. So if it is a main, then only I would like to collect this value. But whenever I'm collecting this value, here observe this one, here the key, the value is directly available. But here the value is not there directly. This is available in the form of an object again. So I want to verify if it is an object or not. That means starting of that object or not. Then what needs to be done if it is starting of an object? Then enter into that particular token. Nothing but go to that. This is one token. This is the next token. Now go to the next token. W parser dot next token. Okay, next token. I have entered into the next token over here. Now here we are having that fields are available here. Okay, here we are having that fields are available. Here the starting of the object. Inside this one we are having that fields are available. The first field. Now I would like to verify. Okay, inside this. I'm going to be verifying if w parser dot, okay, w parser dot get current token. Get current token is equals to system dot JSON token dot field name. Okay, and the two that parser dot get text is equals to what is that one? Temp. Okay, I would like to collect the temperature value. Okay, temp. Then I'm going to be collecting this value. So now here I'm going to be comparing this. So this is the token. Now where is the value in the next token over here? The next token. So I would like to get that next token. W parser dot next token. Now I am going to the next token. That means I'm moving the cursor from this location to this location. Now I want to collect this value over here. This value I want to place inside my temperature variable. Okay, I want to store inside my temperature variable. In my normal temperature variable, I want to store this one. Normal temperature equals to W parser dot get text. Okay, I'm collecting this information. Okay, I'm collecting this information. Now observe this one. So this is that the main token is available. So now I'm collecting this token value, but basically this value is again an object here. I'm traversing into that object level. I'm entering into the object, and then here I'm collecting the token value. What exactly the token value here? If it is a token name is equals to temp, then I'm going to be collecting this value. That means the token value I'm collecting. How? This is the token, this is a separate token. Now if it is a temp, then I'm going to the next token. That means to this token here, I'm collecting this value. I'm storing this value inside a variable called as normal temperature variable. Because this is the normal temperature. Minimum temperature is this one, maximum temperature is this one. This is the average temperature over here. Okay. Now I want to display this value inside my Visual Force page. Okay. How to display? Now let me show you. Go to your page. I'm displaying it. Temperature value. I'm displaying that value normal temperature. Okay, we can able to show this information. Okay, I'm displaying this value. Temperature value is the normal temperature variable I'm displaying over. Let's see. Save this code. Now let's test this functionality, whether you are able to see this value or not. Now I'm going to be indicating some get weather details. We are collecting the weather information. Now the temperature value. Temperature value is what? 298.39. So we are going to be collecting this value in this particular place. Okay. Like that, here we need to traverse the remaining content also here one by one. Okay. Invoking the service will take very less time. Parsing will taking more time. Okay. So parsing is important. Next, after that, we need to go to that next token here. This is the next token here. Okay, feels like I don't want this one information here. So now after that, W parser next token. I want to verify. And then I don't want to go to that next token also over here. Okay, I don't want this information. Feels like also I can able to store inside that a variable, for example. Feels like temperature also. I'm going to the next token. Now I want to verify if W parser dot get current token is equals to system dot JSON token dot field name and W parser dot get text is equals to feels like. Then I would like to go to the next token. Next token, get that value. I want to store this value inside my variable. So what is that variable that we have defined now? Feels like temperature. After that, once we have collected this one, then I would like to go to the next token over here. For that one, I'm moving this cursor. For example, I want to show this information also here. Nature of this humidity. Now here I'm indicating that one more output label. Okay, feels like. I'm getting this information also. For example, I'm giving the two breaklines. I'm giving the value again. Let me test. Now we are able to see the feels like value is 301.02. That value is available over here. Temperature value 298.39. The value is also available. Now let me get that remaining values information also. Okay. So now till you are getting each and every value, display this response also in your Visual page. Once the whole parsing has been done, remove this variable from the Visual page. Okay. For your understanding here, I'm giving this kind of information. The third one, W parser dot next token. I want to get the next token value. W parser dot get current token is equals to system dot JSON token dot field name. W parser dot get text. That means that the current text value, nothing but current token value is equals to What is that next one? If it is temperature minimum, I want to go to the next token. I would like to get the value here. W parser dot next token. I want to get that value. Minimum temperature equals to W parser dot get text. Okay, like the similar way. I want to go to the next token here. I want to collect that the maximum temperature variable value. Temp max. I'm indicating the max temperature. Like the similar way. I'm moving to the next cursor, nothing but next token. I'm verifying that pressure. I'm indicating pressure value. Like the similar way. I'm collecting that information, humidity. Humidity value. So let's save this code. Now the code has been saved successfully. Now we have parsed this whole content here, whatever we have. The entire content we have parsed. We have collected each and every value depends upon your requirement. Okay. So now we are able to parse the content here by using the JSON parser class. We are going to be collecting each and every token. We are comparing whether the token value is, okay, the token name is equals to the main or not. Based on that, we are collecting the token information. From there, we are collecting each and every, okay, inner token value, like as temperature, I'm collecting the value, feels like value, minimum temperature, maximum temperature, pressure information, and then humidity information. All this information I'm placing inside this. Now let's go to the Visualforce programming. In that Visualforce page, place this content over here. So now here I'm placing those variables. Pressure value. Pressure value. And then humidity value. Humidity value. Minimum temperature. Maximum temperature. Okay. All these variable values we are able to show on our Visualforce page now. Let's see how can we test this functionality. So now here I'm going to be indicating like some Bangalore. I'm passing the city name as Bangalore. Click on get weather details. We are able to see this weather information. So for this particular Bangalore city, we are having the weather information. Feels like this is the value. Okay, now you are having 292.29. The value is there. Pressure information. Pressure is what? 1019. The value is there. Humidity. This is 40. And then temperature value. We are having 294.72. Minimum temperature. Minimum temperature 293.15. Maximum temperature 295.93 here. Like that we can able to get this information. So that means the values are parsing perfectly, so that now I want to disable this one. I don't want this information. Simply I'm disabling this. Just I'm commenting that code. So now we can able to see that information itself directly. I'm indicating the city like as some Pune. Click on get weather details. Now we are able to see that weather information also inside this. We can able to get that weather information of the Pune city. For example, I'm indicating like as some Mumbai. Now we can able to see that Mumbai weather information also inside this. So now here we can indicate here. I want to show that city name also inside this. Weather details. For I want to display that the city name. City name variable also I want to make it visible over here. For example, I'm indicating like some Chennai. Once you click on get weather details, it is indicating weather details for the location Chennai. I'm displaying these values. I'm indicating some Mumbai. Click on get weather details. Now it is indicating the Mumbai weather details information. Like that whole information we can able to capture by collecting to that third-party web services. Okay, clear? This is the way we are going to be integrating with the third-party applications.
Yeah. Is there any way to get the values from directly using the value key name?
Understood the concept here? Steps are important.
Hello.
If you know the same steps will be keep on repeating for any application also whatever.
Hello.
Okay.
Hello,
I
sir.
will be giving one small enhancement to you over here. Okay. A small enhancement.
Hello.
Here, do the integration with one more application. Because here I'm getting the temperature. Okay, I'm getting the temperature over here. Minimum temperature, maximum temperature. I'm getting this value. So this temperature value is in the form of what? Kelvins. It is in the form of kelvins. So now we can go to the temperature converter. Now here I'm having that. This is a maximum temperature 302.04. Now this is in kelvins here. Kelvins to centigrade, so Celsius I'm converting. Now that means 28.89. So now I want an integration, okay, with the currency converter, nothing but temperature converter. So whatever that value that we have, we can able to convert into that the actual Celsius form. Or else we can use this formula also. There is a straightforward formula is available. Use this formula also, display this information along with that inside your Visual Force page. Don't display this information directly exactly over here, because if it is giving temperature 299, the people get confused. What exactly 299 over here? Okay, Celsius or Fahrenheit or what? Basically, it is in the form of kelvins. So that we need to convert into our own the Celsius format. Generally, we are going to be referencing it as Celsius. Okay. So now write that code internally inside this. Okay. Upon displaying this information, write some additional code to convert this temperature over. Okay, to convert this temperature here, get 302.04 minus 273.15. So now we can able to get this information. Suppose, for example, I'm indicating this here, 298.15. Okay, 298.15. Now it is indicating like as 25. The same thing we can do here also. Okay, let me do that calculation here. But this is in the form of a string I'm storing over here. We need to convert into that the decimal type, do that calculation, write that code inside this. Okay, whatever the content that I'm going to be collecting over here, I have placed in the form of string type. Okay, get text, nothing but the string value I'm collecting over here. Okay, or else if you want to convert into the decimal format, then you can collect the decimal value also directly over here. Minimum temperature w parser dot get decimal value here. Get the decimal value, we can able to implement this. Let me do that. Get decimal value minus I'm going to be implementing. What is that formula here? $273. But this is in the form of a string. Now, so now the maximum temperature also. Okay, I would like to do this one. Instead of displaying in the form of that format, So now let me place this information now. That means I'm going to be converting into the centigrade over here. I'm indicating C. Okay, centigrades. This is also minimum temperature and the maximum temperature. Here is also I'm indicating C. Now, so let's go to your Visual Force programming. I'm indicating that from Bangalore, get weather details, we are able to see. Temperature 21, average is 21.57, minimum is 20, and then maximum is 22.78. Okay, so that we can able to get this information also. The fields like also we can able to convert. Okay, fields like also we can able to convert by using that form. So here we are able to indicate this information. Okay, we are able to indicate this information also inside this. So instead of doing the currency converter separately, we can able to do that formula directly by using the straightforward formula. We can able to convert this Kelvin format of content into that the centigrade also, Fahrenheit also. If you want to convert into the Fahrenheit, then we are having a different formulas. Formulas are clearly available inside this information itself. Okay, clear? Understood the concept here? How to do this one? Let me copy this code.
Hello, sir.
Okay, so do the practice on this one today. Tomorrow we'll see one more example. I will show you with the help of that OAuth authentication. And along with that, we are having the test class, and then we are having the approval process concept also in tomorrow's session. Tomorrow we are having the session at 8 o'clock, and then 8 to we are having 10:30. Okay.
Hello, sir.
If you know this parsing process, then the remaining concept is very, very simple to you. Okay. Parsing process is most important, which will be taking more